React versus respond. 2 words, 3 seconds, and the difference between them is literally the difference between building wealth and staying broke for the rest of your life. Here is something that will shake you. Behavioral economists have found that executives who pause before making decisions dramatically outperform those who react emotionally. We are talking about 4 to 5 times more likely to achieve their financial goals. That is not a slight edge. That is a completely different life. And the worst part? You are probably destroying opportunities right now without even realizing it. Every time you fire off that angry email, every time you make an impulsive purchase, every time you let someone else's chaos become your emergency, you are literally programming yourself for poverty. But here is where it gets interesting. The wealthy do not have more time than you. They do not have better circumstances. Research in behavioral psychology consistently shows they simply process pressure differently. They have trained themselves to create space between stimulus and response. And that space, that is where fortunes are built. Before we dive deeper, hit like and subscribe so you never miss our videos, and share this with someone who needs to see it. Let me tell you what is actually happening in your brain when you react instead of respond. Because once you understand this, you will never see your decisions the same way again. When something triggers you, whether it is a market crash, a difficult client, or an unexpected bill, your amygdala hijacks your brain. This is the primitive fear center that kept your ancestors alive when lions were chasing them. The problem is, your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a lion and a late payment. It treats everything like a survival threat. And here is the data that should terrify you. Neuroscientist Dr. Daniel Goleman, who popularized the concept of emotional intelligence in his 1995 research, showed that when your amygdala fires, your cognitive function becomes temporarily impaired. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for strategic thinking, planning, and wealth building, goes partially offline. You are making million-dollar decisions with compromised judgment. But wait, it gets worse. Consumer psychology research consistently shows that the vast majority of purchasing decisions are emotionally triggered rather than logically calculated. That means almost every financial choice you make while reactive is working against you. You are not building wealth, you are building someone else's. Now, if you are serious about mastering the psychology of wealth, I need to tell you about VYBO Wealth. This is where we go deeper than any YouTube video can. Inside VYBO Wealth, you get access to our complete strategic wealth psychology system, including the frameworks, the exercises, and the tactical playbooks that transform reactive thinkers into strategic wealth builders. The link is in the description. Join the entrepreneurs who refuse to leave their financial psychology to chance. Compare that to what happens when you respond. When you create even a 3-second gap between stimulus and action, your prefrontal cortex re-engages. Strategic thinking comes back online. You access creativity, long-term planning, and risk assessment. That 3 seconds is the difference between the person who panic sells at the bottom and the person who buys while everyone else is running scared. Warren Buffett built an empire worth over $150 billion on one simple principle. He said, and I quote, "The stock market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient." Read that again, from the active to the patient. He is literally describing the difference between reactors and responders. Here is what most people miss about wealthy individuals. It is not that they do not feel the same emotions you feel. They do. They feel fear during market crashes. They feel anger when deals go wrong. They feel anxiety when facing uncertainty. The difference is they have trained themselves to process those emotions before acting on them. And here is where this gets practical for you. Investment research consistently shows that the most successful long-term investors share one trait. They avoid emotional trading. Accounts that experience the least activity often outperform those with frequent transactions. Why? Because constant activity usually means reactive decision-making. Patience compounds. This is not about being passive. Let me be clear. Responding is not the same as doing nothing. Responding means taking strategic action after processing the situation fully. Reactors move first and think later. Responders think first and move decisively. Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest hedge funds in the world with approximately $125 billion in assets, has a rule. Before any major decision, he requires a reflection period. He calls it the pain plus reflection equals progress formula. The pain is the stimulus, the reflection is the pause, the progress is the wealth. The 7 triggers destroying your wealth. Now let me show you exactly where this is costing you money, because knowing the concept is worthless if you cannot identify your specific triggers. Trigger 1. Comparison. Financial psychology research shows that households frequently comparing themselves to wealthier peers consistently have lower savings rates than those who focus on their own financial journey. When you see someone flaunt their success on social media, your brain screams, "React. Buy that car, take that vacation, prove your worth." But responders ask different questions. What is the actual ROI on this decision? How does this align with my 5-year plan? Trigger 2. Fear of missing out. Behavioral finance research shows that FOMO-driven investment decisions consistently underperform the market. That might sound minor until you realize even small underperformance compounded over 20 years is the difference between retiring wealthy and working forever. If you are getting value from this content, consider joining our channel membership. Members get early access to every video, exclusive content that never hits the main channel, and direct access to our community of ambitious wealth builders. You will be surrounded by people who think like you, who are committed to mastering their psychology and building real wealth. The join button is right below this video. Trigger 3. Criticism. When someone challenges your business decisions, do you defend your ego or evaluate the feedback? Leadership research consistently shows that executives who respond to criticism rather than react to it are significantly more likely to correct course before failure. Trigger 4. Rejection. Every successful entrepreneur has a rejection story, but here is the difference. Reactors internalize rejection as a verdict on their worth. They quit, or they lash out, or they make desperate moves. Responders treat rejection as data. Founders who respond strategically to initial rejections are far more likely to eventually secure funding than those who react emotionally. Trigger 5. Market volatility. During the 2008 financial crisis, investors who panic sold suffered devastating losses to their portfolios. Those who responded by staying the course or strategically buying recovered within years and went on to multiply their wealth in the following decade. Trigger 6. Urgency. Pressure. When someone says, "You need to decide right now," that is almost always a sign you should not. Consumer behavior research shows that artificial time pressure significantly increases poor purchasing decisions. Wealthy people understand that real opportunities can withstand scrutiny. Trigger 7. Past trauma. This is the silent killer. Childhood experiences with money, past failures, previous losses. They create automatic reactions you are not even aware of. Financial therapy experts have found that a majority of self-sabotaging financial behaviors are rooted in unprocessed past experiences. The Reception Pro Counsel. Here is where we stop talking about the problem and start building your solution. I am going to give you the exact protocol that turns reactive patterns into wealth-building responses. Step 1. The pattern interrupt. The moment you feel triggered, do something physical. Change your environment. Stand up, take 3 deep breaths, walk to another room. Cognitive behavioral therapy research shows that physical movement disrupts the amygdala response and re-engages your prefrontal cortex. This is not woo-woo advice. This is neuroscience. Step 2. The 24-hour rule. For any financial decision over $1,000, implement a mandatory waiting period. Research on consumer behavior consistently shows that cooling off periods dramatically reduce regretful purchases. 1 day of patience can save you decades of compounding losses. Step 3. The paper test. Before acting, write down your decision and the reasoning behind it. Research shows that writing activates different neural pathways than thinking alone. When you see your reactive logic on paper, it often looks ridiculous. Step 4. The future self-consultation. Ask yourself, how will the version of me who has already achieved my goals view this decision? This technique, studied extensively by psychologist Hal Hershfield, activates long-term thinking and dramatically improves financial outcomes. His research found that people who regularly consulted their future selves had significantly higher savings rates. Step 5. The post-decision audit. After every major decision, whether good or bad, review what triggered it. Was it reactive or responsive? Build a personal database of your patterns. Over time, you will start catching yourself before the reaction even completes. Here is what nobody tells you about this shift. The benefits compound, just like money does. When you start responding instead of reacting, you make one better decision. That better decision leads to a slightly better outcome. That better outcome gives you more resources and clearer thinking for the next decision. And so it continues. According to 2006 research from Duke University, approximately 45% of daily behaviors are habitual. That means nearly half of everything you do today, you will do tomorrow without thinking. If reaction is your habit, you are compounding poverty. If response is your habit, you are compounding wealth. Let me give you a real example. Consider two entrepreneurs facing the same setback. A major client leaves. The reactor panics, slashes prices, burns through savings trying to replace the revenue immediately, and posts a passive-aggressive rant on LinkedIn. 3 months later, they are worse off than before, with lower margins and a damaged reputation. The responder pauses. They analyze why the client left. They identify gaps in their service. They use the breathing room to upgrade their offering. They reach out to the client professionally, asking for feedback. 6 months later, not only have they replaced the revenue, but the upgraded service commands 20% higher prices. Same event, opposite outcomes. The only difference was 3 seconds. Let me leave you with this. You cannot control what happens to you. You cannot control markets, economies, other people's decisions, or random events. Trying to control external circumstances is a game you will always lose. But you have absolute control over one thing: the space between stimulus and response. That gap is your domain. That is where you exercise real power. That is where wealth is built or destroyed. According to Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps and wrote about it in his 1946 masterwork Man's Search for Meaning, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. He discovered this principle in the worst conditions imaginable, and he is telling you that your power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you process it. The wealthy understand this at a cellular level. They have trained themselves to widen that gap, to use it, to leverage it, and now you know exactly how to do the same. So remember, react versus respond is not just a concept. It is the operating system that determines your financial destiny. Reactors let emotions drive their decisions and wonder why they stay broke. Responders create space, process strategically, and build unstoppable wealth. The 3-second rule is your new wealth-building tool. Use the pattern interrupt. Implement the 24-hour rule. Write it down. Consult your future self and audit every major decision. Start today, not tomorrow. The next time something triggers you, pause, breathe, respond. Your future wealthy self is counting on this moment. If this hit you, drop a comment below and tell me your biggest trigger. And if you are serious about building unshakable wealth, subscribe and hit that notification bell, because in the next video, we are going even deeper into the psychology that separates winners from everyone else.